Good morning, soccer fans, and welcome to the UWS Kickoff Show, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. This summer, we are excited to get you primed for the weekend action in UWS and UWS2 by bringing interviews, stories, and updates as we get you ready for soccer each and every weekend in the summer. Hashtag Summer of Soccer. Today, we'll be highlighting the matchup between the Rochester Lancers and FC Buffalo, and talk about some of the other matches happening this weekend in UWS and UWS2, sorry. This morning, joining me as usual, I have my co-hosts, Danny and Megan. Let's see if I can find Megan. There she is. All right. Good morning, you two. How are you doing today?
Doing great. It is always awesome to be hanging out on my Saturday morning with the UWS kickoff folks. And it's just another reminder that Watford is in second place and getting promoted when I see Megan on the screen too.
Oh, this way. There we go. Yeah, I'm excited. Feeling good. I'm now in Florida, so I'm proper ready for the summer of soccer.
Nice. So this past week, we had match day 1. Why don't we go over some of that first week of action matches? We had 3 matches. Megan, why don't you tell us a little bit about that Midwest United, Lansing United matchup?
Yeah, so it was a great matchup. Midwest looking very, very strong. Exactly what you want to see from the opening game of the season. Score of 4-2. I mean, goals galore, and they were good goals. It was really, really exciting. Both attacks were clicking at Aquinas College. It was great. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed the game. I think that it was a close battle, but I think ultimately the team with the better attack, with more organization, came out on top.
We also had another game, a game that had more goals than I think we needed. Danny, what happened in that match?
Yeah, so Megan got the more fun game to recap. We had Corktown AFC there hosting Muskegon Risers. We knew Corktown was going to come out swinging. We know they're one of the top teams in this division in the entire league. But I don't think anybody this was not on the betting sheet for today. It was an 8-0 victory for Corktown at home. They are very deserved winners, but we do love to see closer score lines. Corktown getting things underway from the 12th minute. Alexis Savic gets the opening goal, and of course, they never look back. They get 5 in the first half for a 5-0 first 45 minutes. They get 3 more in the second, of course. Hema Hissick is somebody that Jonathan, you've been mentioning, is somebody to watch on and off air. The Louisville player for the Cardinals up there. Big difference maker. She scored twice and assisted 3 more. So that's if FootMob was covering UWS, that's one of those where they get like a 9.8 because you can never get a 10 rating on FootMob. But that's a pretty high quality match from Corktown. They are the class of the league so far.
The other matchup that we had was just a quality finish, tightly contested match between the Kicks of Chicago and Lady Steel FC. One of us said 2-1. I don't remember who it was, but I think one of us said it was going to be a 2-1, maybe 3-1. But this was one of those matches, the encounter taking place at DePage Medical Group Field, and Lady Steel earned this opening victory against the Kicks, building a 2-goal lead that proved just enough to take all 3 points. And it was a great game. I got to go back and watch it. I talked to a couple of people from both sides, and they were happy with the way this game unfolded. So we're really excited. Hopefully that is the trend going forward for both clubs. But we have soccer galore this weekend. We have 11 matchups. But the matchup that we are going to feature today is the matchup that's going to take place on Sunday. Rochester Lancers FC Buffalo, Aquinas Institute, 2 p.m. What better way, you guys, to start a season off with a good old-fashioned derby? What do you guys think about having a derby as your first game?
It's so cool. I love it. It's funny because I don't know if you guys remember, FC Buffalo is one of the clubs that I picked in my Final Four. So this isn't just a derby. It's a derby that's going to have title implications in that division for me. Maybe it won't. That's just my opinion, and I'm probably wrong. But I'm really excited for it. But you're already working yourself up as a player so much for that first day. for that first matchup you've been waiting for so long. I think we talked about this last week. It's obviously a storyline in this part of the season, but then you can even kind of give yourself that extra motivation because it's that derby match, and both teams are coming into it knowing that maybe they're not at full, training fitness and kind of training cohesion with each other. But the playing field's very level. You go out there and at a certain point, you're both dealing with the same issues early on in a summer season, and you go out there and make the best of it. And whoever makes the best of their circumstances takes those 3 points. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Megan, how do you get up for a derby as your first matchup of the year? Are you already seeing that once the schedule's released and you're gearing up at that point?
Yeah, as soon as that schedule is released, a derby match just means so much. I mean, you're already hyped for the first game of the season, let alone it being a derby. Like, it's gonna be really interesting to see how both teams approach this, because it's a more emotional match than your typical opening season game. So does that mean we're going to see a bit more caution, a bit more tentative start potentially? But yeah, it's going to be a really, really good game. Emotions are going to be high, but I think we're going to be out here to see some great soccer with these two teams.
I'm curious to see how it works, because back in the day, the Lancers had the Flash. That was their rival. That was the team that they had, I'm sure, circled. But now FC Buffalo comes in looking to stampede into Wegmans Stadium for a 2 p.m. kickoff in hopes of kicking off their season with a W, while handing their new rival their first loss of the season when the dust settles. Joining us today, first, we have Liz Mentel. Liz Mentel is the director of women's soccer for FC Buffalo. Good morning, Liz. How are you?
I'm doing great, especially after Danny said we were going to win. So I'm feeling really good.
I got you.
Liz, you're joining us this morning. You're caffeinated with your 30-ounce mug from that support local.
Huge mug.
Yeah, Republic Radio Nerd. Really enjoy that. So, hey, let's talk a little bit about this matchup, and let's talk to you first as director of women's soccer. How do you put everything together for your first day, especially as somebody new to, I won't say soccer culture, obviously, but this is something new that you're putting together that's going to jump on the pitch. Tell us a little bit about that feeling.
Well, it's really exciting. I like how, Megan talked about it's going to be an emotional match and a lot of emotions. It's not just the first game of the season. It's the first game in the league, that Buffalo has a women's soccer team at a higher level, and everyone's amped, not just to represent the new club, but the city, and to be able to play Rochester right down the road. I mean, Wegmans. I mean, talk about Wegmans. I mean, we love Wegmans. That's all about us. Like, it feels like we're playing our neighbor. We're playing our it's almost like we're playing at home a little bit. So I think that we have that extra little emotional drive behind it, because it's more than just the first game of the season for us. So I think there's been a lot of emotion behind that. We want to make sure that we, on the back end, are doing everything right to make sure that the women have everything that they need to be able to succeed when they step on that pitch.
Danny, Megan, any question for Liz?
So how has the team sort of come together to get to this point? How have they gelled and built that team cohesion?
Yeah, so I was talking to, not only our coach, but one of our players, Carissima, and they're both just thrilled with how quickly that the team has been able to gel, because, some of these players are from competing colleges. So it's interesting how everyone kind of knows who everyone is, and rivalry is important in sports. And I mean, back in my day, I would hold a grudge. So the fact that these, women can come out and gel so quickly, it's pretty exciting. And Christmas says, from the younger players to the older players, there's just such a great mix in different talents that everything is kind of really covered. So they're really, really excited just how well everyone's come together.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as a person who has already put my eggs in the Buffalo basket, I mean, I'm looking at the season, and especially, like, I'm not in Buffalo, but I feel like I'm a fan at this point because I have to be to protect my good name. But I mean, looking at this from a supporter's perspective, first off, are we going to have supporters at that game in Rochester? Is that going to be, kind of an element of this match? And if so, or if not, from a fan's perspective, who can we look to kind of provide that extra spark? Who's that name on the team sheet that we look at and say, oh yeah, that's who we've got our eye on all match long?
Well, so I would say this with COVID. I mean, that's just I'm sure every single team has been dealing with this. Not only the CDC guidelines, but the local and state, mandates of what you are and aren't allowed to do. I will say that Rochester has just been amazing to work with and making sure that, at least some family members are allowed to come. So we completely understand. I think it helps that we're in the same state and we're under the same guy. We all understand it. So there will be supporters there. Hopefully we could, we'd love to pack that place, but we understand. And I think that the girls are juiced enough to carry the support, from a distance. But the amount of people that have asked, okay, where can we watch the game? Where can we watch the game? So we will have supporters there in spirit, no matter where they're watching from. And as far as who to look out for, I mean, our team is so stacked with amazing players. I mean, I naturally just lean towards watch for Charisma, just because she's kind of come forward as kind of the, I don't want to just point her as the leader, the only one to watch, but she's just such a standout talent and was really one of the driving forces behind making sure we could start this team and launch it right. So, but the amazing talent from top to bottom that we have, I think you might even get a few surprises going, oh, wow, all right, let me write her name down to look for in the future. I think you'll be really impressed.
I love to hear it.
So, Liz, how you obviously being away, and for those of you who are going to be watching, you can check out the link on the bottom that will direct you to My Cujo that will stream the game. But for fans, once they're in attendance at home, what should they expect from FC Buffalo's game day experience to get them hyped for matches at home?
Man, so one of the really cool things is, we are FC Buffalo. That means we're the women's team and the men's team. And the excitement we had from the Situation Room, which is our men's supporters group, and now our women. So, I mean, they're there. They show up. They are so pumped. They are so excited. And it's like you're walking into, I'm being dramatic here, a World Cup game. They are so amped from the beginning to the end. They are singing. They are chanting. They are there. They are making noise. There's drums. So it's an exciting place to be. I mean, you get amped up and you really feel like you are in a higher level game just because of how enthusiastic our supporters are. And that's such a big part of our culture in Buffalo too. So, I mean, we love our sports teams, and our soccer team is no different. So it's definitely an exciting experience to walk into.
Last question on my end. I'm curious. We've talked about how juiced people are, how excited people are for this match. And it doesn't take a whole lot probably to get you amped up on the day, but who's giving the team talk pregame and what does that look like?
Yeah, I would say our coaching staff has been fantastic. Nikki Bartholomew, Gabe Wilson, and Leah Ponticello. I mean, they've been absolutely awesome. And being able to bring in their expertise and who they've worked with in the past, they're doing a bang up job. I would say Nikki's probably going to have those words of wisdom to share to really get them hyped up. She's just been such a great force, coming into the beginning, the respect that she has in the area, and the respect that she has of all the players. I mean, she was when we were putting the team together, she was the name on the top of everyone's list of who they wanted to work with. So I think Nikki's really going to be that lead for this first game.
Everything I'm hearing sounding like a Final Four team.
We're here to make your day, Danny. That's it.
Good. Make my season. Let's go.
Oh, you got to humble this kid a little bit. Come on, Liz. We can sweat a little bit, just a bit.
I don't want to. Hey, if he's in our corner, there's no humble. Just get going. Feel that. Get that head. Get bigger. Get bigger.
Danny, that wall's looking a little blank. It may need some FC Buffalo stuff. Just
I won't be here next week. I'm all over the place, but wherever I go, it'll come with me.
So they can travel.
Get some blue with me.
I'm just gonna be wearing the shirt for the rest of the season. And
we got some cool ones.
So can you tell us who's going to be wearing the captain armband for the game tonight? And is that something you've named for the season, or are you guys still trying to find out who's that natural leader?
Yeah, I haven't, the conversations I've had with Nikki in the past few days have been a little bit different. The roster is set. I honestly haven't gotten that information from her yet. So I think what we're doing is building up the suspense, and we want you guys to find that out. So you're gonna have to tune into the game. But I don't know, honestly. I wish I had that information for you. But I know that Nikki's been working pretty hard to make sure that the 18 that are at Rochester are all gelling and working together at that top level.
So Liz, what are some of the insights you've gotten from Liz and Charisma these past few days as you're kind of working with the team? I know I had a conversation with you early in the week, and you were going to reach out and find out what's some of the insight that you've gotten from both of those individuals as we lead up to game day tomorrow?
Yeah, Charisma is saying that, listen, here's what you can expect. We're going to be hardworking. We're going to have a lot of excitement coming out of that. Dangerous around the goal, which is what I love to hear. You want to be dangerous around the goal. And that's kind of the insight she was giving me. Nikki was just saying, listen, it's going to be a battle. We know that. It's going to be a battle with plenty of action, especially going to the first game. You guys talked about that in the beginning. First game of the season, first game of us in the league. Yeah, there's probably going to be some growing pains, lots to work on. But what we can guarantee is 100% effort with a lot of action, and hopefully we're coming out on the winning side.
And what about from Nikki? I know Nikki's very humble. She's quiet. She's a go-getter. Yeah. She's not going to give too much bulletin board material. But what would she give you?
Yeah, so I kind of combined their answers there. I made them into one person. She had that little more conservative side of hard work, big battle, and hopefully we're out on the winning side. I just know that, yeah, you're right. Nikki is a little bit quiet, and I kind of like that about her. But she's always thinking. And I think that's obviously what you want in a coach. But she's not like, hey, we're going to come out and we're going to cream Rochester. No, we're going to put up a good fight. Rochester's got a great team. We're going to battle. We have things to work on. We're a brand new team. We're headed into our first match. Hopefully we come out on the winning side because of the amazing team and talent that we have put together, and hopefully we can come out with a win on this first game.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited about it. Hey, we're actually going to have you hang on for a second because Megan has been doing some research, and she's got a player to watch for you. So Megan, what do you got?
Yes. So I've done a lot of research, and I think the player to watch in this match is going to be Marcie Barbaric. So she's been recently named Mid-American Conference Offensive Player, leading her team with 9 goals and an assist. She's totaled 23 career goals and 59 career points at the University at Buffalo. So she's going to be taking that momentum into this season. I think she's going to be an attacking threat to watch, and I'm really, really excited to see her play with FC Buffalo. She's built, like, coming straight off that spring college season is almost an advantage to her to just take that momentum straight through. So I'm really excited. What are your thoughts on her?
Well, what's really exciting for me is, so and when we were on, gosh, what was that, months ago, we talked about how I was new to the women's soccer environment in Buffalo. So even though I grew up playing soccer and watching soccer, knowing the players around here is not my forte. But every time we decided on a player to be on our team, the stats that they had behind him, we actually had someone message Nick, our corner, and go, can you not announce a superstar? Like, is everyone you're just announcing just like stacked? So to try and differentiate someone from just the stuff that's coming in for me, it's hard because everyone has such great stats or stories around them of how they work well with the team or what they've been able to do. So I like that you can go in and pick out people, and I'm sure there's going to be other ones, but I know that the people that we were able to get on the team, every single one of them, we were like, yes, I can't believe we were able to have this team this stacked. So yeah, I'm excited to watch Marcie. I'm excited to watch. We've got Jamie Boyer. We've got so many girls on the team that have name recognition around this area because of the level of soccer that they play.
Yeah, I
The
think
local
the
talent,
beautiful thing about soccer is that, it's not just about having that one player. You need that full 11. In fact, you need that full 18 because those players coming in off the bench, they make a difference. You don't want a substitute to come on and just slot in. That substitute's got to come on and raise that level. So to have a completely stacked squad is just amazing to go into your first season. So
yeah. And I know that picking 18 out of, the players that we have is super hard, but also what a privileged place to be in, right? To be such a hard decision when it comes time to select that roster. We're very fortunate.
Yeah, it's something I've been watching here in Charlotte, working with Charlotte Eagles this summer, and it's crazy because I know a couple of the players who were in that training squad, that are kind of break into the first team, and I mean they're incredible. I'll watch them play, and I'm like, how are you not starting for any team in the country right now? It's crazy the depth that a lot of these, especially on the women's side, I think it's a kind of a calling card for these clubs. Is there's just so much talent and not nearly enough of a system to give them those minutes that. I mean, there's so many great players. It's great for us as fans. It's definitely time to raise the level of that system. But as we continue to build that, it's fun as a fan to look and say, man, every single person in the starting 11 on both sides is just going to be at that level. It's going to be a fun battle in moments like this.
Yeah, it's exciting to be a part of a league where every game isn't a blowout. I mean, as much as you want to be that team that just completely wipes every other team off the map, to be able to have an exciting competitive league is really what's going to lift everybody up. So yeah, hearing that the talent is spread all around the country, and we've known this for a while. The talent in women's soccer is there. It's there and it's ready to be just captured on and really seized. So the fact that we're able to be a part of this and be a part of an exciting league that I hope we're on the winning side of every game, but I also hope that it's fun to watch, and it's not fun to watch people just cream other teams every weekend. So we know that, and we're ready for it. I don't know if you can tell, we're excited in Buffalo for this.
Yeah, Corktown, it can't all be 8-0. You heard it right here, okay? Stop creaming people by 8 goals. Anyway.
Well, Buffalo should be ready for soccer because the Sabre season ended back in January. So hopefully everybody's ready for some FC Buffalo.
We could just stay positive. I mean, we could.
Whoa.
Sharks are just as bad. I'm not going to defend my San Jose Sharks right now. But hey, Liz, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to chat. We look forward to having more opportunities to kind of hang out and just converse on what's going on in FC Buffalo, because I'm sure it's going to be an exciting season. And if Danny gets anything right, it's we'll be seeing you at the National Championship July 23rd through 25th.
We're here for it, Danny.
Awesome, Liz. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Good luck today.
Thanks.
Or tomorrow, I should say. All right. So we have a matchup. For Rochester, though, we do have talent on that side of the ball. Olivia D'Amico is a player to watch. She just finished her freshman year at Penn State. She grew up in the New York Flash program, homegrown talent, I should say. I think she has a lot of potential to bring to this side, especially since she's been playing at Penn State. Ali Schlegel, Frankie Tagliaferri, who captained that side, they ended up 12-3-1 this season, and ended up in the NCAA tournament where they eventually lost to Florida State University, who's going to be playing in the final here pretty soon. But I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think Rochester comes in. This match, I think, goes to Buffalo, though. I'm not going to lie. I think Buffalo has a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder. They need to prove things, especially after Danny gave them his pregame speech about his expectations. I'm going FC Buffalo, and I'm saying 2-0.
I like that. That's what I was going to say as well. Y'all know I'm going to go with Buffalo in this one after all that hype up. I think, I think Rochester probably will play a match that's deserving of a goal, but match day one, it can be that way. You get in front of goal and you don't quite finish. I think Buffalo goes up 2 pretty early on, maybe 2 in the first half, and Rochester's just kind of chasing the game, can't quite get one back. I'll go 2-0 as well.
Yeah, I'm also going to back Buffalo. We just heard it that they have that extra reason to play. Like, this is their opening game for their women's team. That just means so much to wear that badge for the first time as a women's team in the UWS. It's a lot to play for. So I'm backing them, but I'm going to I'm going to give Rochester a chance, and I think they are going to score. So I'm going to go for a 2-1.
Fair enough. So you heard it. We got 2-0 and a 2-1 going on. So week 2 of UWS soccer gives us 11 matches. This is a very, very hyped weekend. You can check all things out. You get weekend previews and links to the matches. Go to uwssoccer.com/UWS week-2-preview to get those Mike Cujos so you can stream the game live. Let's each take one match from this weekend, one from the 11, and kind of highlight it, give people an understanding of what's going on. So Megan, why don't you start us?
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to pick East Conference still, Saturday. Tonight at 7:30 p.m., we've got Fusion versus Albany Rush at the Farmington Sports Arena. So Albany Rush are set to make their UWS debut on the road against Connecticut Fusion, who have proven to be contenders in the East Conference after finishing second in the last 2 seasons. So as they look to make that jump into the top of the standings this season, to start the season with 3 points is going to be crucial. That is exactly what they are out there to get. Albany Rush are going to be hoping to set a solid foundation in their first match in the league. So it's going to be all to play for. It's going to be intense. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a good one. Tune into that one at 7:30 p.m. Farmington Sports Arena.
Danny?
I'm going to go over to the Southwest Conference in honor of Harry and his San Antonio love and pride. That's a place I've also lived and have a lot of affection for. So I'm going to go San Antonio taking on Austin here. Athenians are representing San Antonio, and they are hosting FC Austin Elite, who is run by a guy named Danny. So really, I have to support them as well. In all seriousness, Danny Woodfill, fantastic. He knows exactly why he's in the women's soccer game. He's doing so much to raise the level all over the country, but especially there in Austin and in Round Rock specifically. So that's going to be a really good battle. Athenians have a lot to offer on the pitch. Somebody to watch for, kind of that big name defender, Ashley Cathro. She's a Canadian youth international and also played for Vancouver Whitecaps youth system. And then, Austin Elite. Yeah, just you could pick all 18 players, probably have some crazy highlight. Satara Murray is a Houston Dash alum, so multiple players on that squad with professional experience. That's going to be a team that's going to come out and expect to do great things. I think they will take this win, but Athenians is going to give them a very good run for their money. I say maybe 3-2 in this one. Lots of goals. Austin's not going to go 90 minutes without putting one in the back of the net, but Athenians can score as well. And I'll say 3-2 for the away side, 3-2 for Austin Elite.
Been watching some of their scrimmages that they've had that they've been posting, and the Athenians have a very technical, fast touch game. They try to move that ball quick, very Brazilian style in the way that they get it right. It's like somebody the samba beat. There's always something in their head. They're playing with the ball. They're playing off the ball. They're finding ways to create space. I don't think it's going to be that match. I think you're going to see a reverse on the score, Danny. I know FC Austin Elite is ready for this. They've seen each other. Maybe they haven't given their full attention to a scrimmage, but you never know. I hope I'm wrong to some extent. I'd love to see a draw. I'd love to see both teams have a great time and fun on the pitch. No, we want a winner. Let's be real. We want to see a win. So I hope they're able to get going. The matchup that I have happens at 7:30 at Keyworth Stadium. Let's talk about Keyworth Stadium. Keyworth Stadium is probably one of the more packed stadiums you could get, both for NISA and for the UWS. Detroit City FC has a great support group. Let's just call it maybe one of the best. But then you're introducing Muskegon Risers, who have Port City supporters, who we just had on UWS Weekly this past week, who are just as passionate. I don't know. I think Muskegon has to come into this matchup and show a little bit more, but I don't know how you do it against a team like Detroit City FC, to be honest. You have two clubs that are playing in their inaugural seasons for the UWS at Keyworth, nonetheless. Lots of smoke, lots of chants, lots of screaming and yelling, and lots of players moving quick. you got to get all 3 points, right? That's the idea. You win the games you're supposed to win, and you keep winning the games that you're not. I don't know if there's a matchup that Detroit City's not supposed to win right now at this point, because we haven't seen them play, but we've seen Muskegon play. And I think they have a bitter taste in their mouth. I think they look to come out and fire on all cylinders. I don't see an 8-0 win. I hope that Muskegon has a chip on their shoulder, comes out, plays physical, wants to control the match a little bit more, and can pull one out, get a couple in the net, and we see maybe a 4-2 Detroit City win.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we'll see a much closer scoreline than match day 1. Muskegon obviously a little bit outclassed by Corktown away from home. That's another away match. So I mean, the tough fixtures just keep coming in this division. When you're in the Midwest in UWS, it's just there's no week off as far as a fixture that's just easy that you are sure to get all 3 points from. So Muskegon, just the tough tests keep coming. This one I think they'll be much more up for, like you said, bitter taste in your mouth after you kind of get humbled by that kind of score line. I think they make this a more fun game. I say maybe 2-0. I still they struggled in the attack. They've got some work to do before they put one in the back of the net and really kind of get moving on all cylinders in the final third. But I do think they hold a lot tighter defensively, and that's a fun one. A 2-0 win for that incredible Northern Guard supporters fan base for Detroit City. And do not think, just because it's a brand new women's side, that nobody's going to come out to these women's games, guys. It's going to be the same crazy atmosphere. Absolute hooligans out there with smoke and drums and chanting and many profanities. And they love their Detroit City, no matter who's playing, no matter what product is on the field. So they're going to have a good time, and we're going to have a good time witnessing them do it.
That's definitely one to tune into on Mike Cujo. Megan, as a player, how do you come off the pitch after an 8-0 loss and prepare for another hard matchup the next week?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think the key is just putting it behind you. Remember that feeling, but don't dwell on it. Remember that feeling, that how it felt, and you don't want to feel that again. So that gives you that fire in your belly to go again that next week. But it's going to be tough. It's like we said, Detroit are a good club. They're going to have good fans. They're going to have loud atmosphere, and it's going to be intimidating for Muskegon to go there, especially coming off of that loss. I think the key for them at Corktown, they kind of, with a goal going in after 12 minutes, then it gets shaky and you get nervous and everything starts to feel chaotic. And I think if they're able to keep it on level grounds for the first 45 minutes, I think that's going to be something that they're probably going to be talking about pre-game, like, hey, first 45 minutes, let's get organized, play defensive, keep it level, and then in the second half, grow into it. Then we can start going for the attack. So I think we're going to see a different performance from Muskegon. I think they'll be a lot more organized defensively, and they hopefully will be able to keep it level until at least the half. Personally, I'm still backing Detroit to win this game, but I hope that the Risers can pull it off, and I hope that they can go into this game and build some confidence going in for the rest of the season.
Well, let's get into some of the last week's action. Let's talk about of the week. So this week we have 2 awesome candidates. You don't like that, Danny? You don't like?
I do. I like it.
Okay.
It's fun.
Hey, so Megan, give us some insight into this Mike Cujo goal of the week.
Yeah, so Elysia Saba, absolutely incredible goal. It was her second of the match. I think she scored the first goal of the game. And yeah, this goal, receives it at the top of the box, takes a couple touches, looks up, and just bam, straight into the top corner, coming off down the crossbar. Like, scoring that, you are buzzing. And to get that in the opening week, I mean, that is just goal of the week to me. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, this one, it's got to be nominated. I would be so happy with that. I'm sure she was going crazy after scoring that. So it was an incredible goal. I mean, the other goal too, like the Midwest game, it was a close game with some really, really good goals in. And this is definitely a contender Yeah, for me, Elysia just takes it, but the placement of that, cutting inside onto the left foot, yeah. 2 quality goals for the first week, and I think that just sets the bar for some amazing goals this entire season.
Danny, how do you ignore this strike by Sydney on the assist from Hannah in that Midwest game? I feel like it was a steal for Sydney's goal. I mean, she cut it back to her left, hit that with a different angle, the same corner. Who would you give the goal of the week to?
No, I think me watching this second one just now is going to be turned into a GIF by somebody somewhere, because that was insane. There's probably footage of me going, "What?" That was a wild goal. I mean, did she genuinely like trip the keeper while the keeper was in her goal? Is that what happened? No, I want to see this again. Look at this. Cuts back, has enough power to chip it over the, or does she just bury that and put it perfect? I mean, look at this contact.
Well weighted.
My goodness, that doesn't happen. Like, that shouldn't be legal for a human to be able to do that. That's a fantastic goal. You could tell that's exactly where she wanted to place it, exactly where she had to place it to score. And that's a dominant goal. I mean, for me, it's impossible to choose. Because I looked at the first one, I'm like, yeah, poor other goal that was nowhere close to this. But no, I mean, I'm going with the second goal for me. But at the same time, you can't take any respect away from the first one. It's very deserving to be goal of the week. It's get that little roadcaster sound ready for next week, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have more of those. It reminds me of when I watched the World Cup in 2018 on Telemundo to try to learn Spanish. It was a good time.
Megan, who ended up winning goal of the week?
So, goal of the week, I feel like we need to get like a drum roll kind of button.
I don't know if I have a drum roll button.
I got
champagne cork.
Oh, well, that's
no.
Not quite the same, but here we go. Goal of the week goes to Elysia Saba.
Awesome. Congratulations, Elysia. And good luck to all of our athletes as we head into week 2. We expect some golazos. Mike Cujo expects some my golazos. We'll call it my golazo for Mike Cujo. I like that.
I like that. That's like summer of soccer. Every week tune in, because you're gonna get a new saying that's just really, really cool and fun. New hashtag.
Hashtag summer of soccer. We've got 2. We're 2 for 2. 2 for 2. Hey, Danny, what about team of the week? What do we got?
Let's see. Obviously, we know that there's going to be some Corktown AFC players present in that 8-0 thrashing. So Emma Hissick is the player representing them who gets that honor. Offensive player of the week for her, and then Paige Eli of Midwest United. She grabs defensive player of the week. That was a more defensive battle, we remember, and one that we were highlighting with them and Lansing to open the season. So cool to kind of circle back to last week and kind of see one player stand out and help earn her team those 3 points. So once again, Emma Hissick, offensive player of the week, and then defensive player of the week going to Paige Eli.
Look, Emma played outstanding. She controlled a lot of the match. Paige is a stellar player, and she will control every inch of that midfield when asked. Her and Lewis are on the same page. Paige, she's a pro. She's a pro, and she will do everything it takes to win the ball and in the end win the match. So to have her controlling and playing in that position, holding midfielder, making things happen, I'm excited. I don't think this is the last time we'll see her on defensive or even offensive player of the week this season.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, sorry. And I do want to just acknowledge that pun. It was very good. And I don't know if some people might have missed it, but it was very high quality. But yeah, I could, speaking of high quality, could see her on either side of the Player of the Week awards going forward.
Yeah, I really think that she was kind of that difference between Midwest and Lansing, because she just dominated and controlled and broke up that play. And that was really what allowed Midwest to take that lead.
So looking at this match before we head out this morning and get you guys tuning into your matches and doing what you need to do to get ready and pumped up for them, what are some storylines that we need to look out for as it relates to some of these matches in week 2 of the UWS #Summer of Soccer?
For me, it's these new teams coming in that haven't played in week one, because that's most of these teams. I mean, out of these 11 matches, what are they, like 7 or 8 that are all new teams that haven't seen the field yet? So this is the week where we get a much better idea of who's who. You saw 8-0 on the receiving end for Muskegon, that now they get to play Detroit City, and we kind of see there's this little like kind of totem pole in our heads of who's really where. We can guess a little bit more educatedly about, and that's not a word, about these matches and who's where, because you get one result and you say, okay, maybe that has a good indication on what the rest of the season looks like. But you don't know, where that team you just beat stacks up in the rest of the league, if they're right up there with you at top of the table, if they're kind of at the bottom and you really should have won that by 2 or 3 goals. Now we start to kind of see this in our heads of like who's really where, and we get that idea of anywhere but the Southeast, because it still hasn't started yet, and I'm not bitter, but I'm excited to see who's where, and kind of get a better idea of what that first week results meant.
Megan?
Yeah, I think we saw goals galore last week in that opening weekend, and we've got a lot of teams coming out for their first matches of the season and even first matches in the UWS again. So I think it's going to be another goals galore weekend. I think people are ready. That a lot of these players are coming off of their college season, which means they're probably the most informed that they're going to be coming into a summer season. So they're just going to take that momentum and absolutely run with it. So I think we're in for a great weekend full of goals, and probably going to have a few more nominations for goals of the week. So if you guys see any that you want to nominate, hit us up on Twitter and we'll be putting them into the mix.
Yeah, you already know what hashtag to put.
We hashtag Summer of Soccer. That's all we got. Look, for me, I don't know how you can come back with 17 goals, right? Week 1 gave us 17 goals. And so when we look at this, I'm curious to know of what happens with Corktown. Did you use all of your goals in week 1, right? You put up 8. Did you use 2 weeks worth of goals in that match? You're going up against Lansing United. Lansing United lost their first match. That is their second loss ever in the UWS during the regular season. Does that bother them? Are they, I'm not going to say salty, but they probably are very salty about losing that match. They expected better of themselves if you ask them. And I hope that they change that narrative and come out, and Corktown's going to be in for a battle. It's not going to be the same as it was against Muskegon. And then my other storyline is what's going to happen with FC Austin Elite. What's going to happen to the Athenians if they lose today? If they draw, I don't know, but does one team take the loss and change that whole season around and they just win out and get mad at every game? Do they change their momentum or their attitude? I'm curious to see what happens. I know Olivier, I know Danny, I know them both well, and I think both of them don't want to walk away with an L in this match, let alone a tie. So they're going to be pressing, and they're going to want to press and potentially come out with a win here.
Yeah, I agree. That's the match that I pointed out a little bit earlier. So I'm clearly pretty excited about that one too. And that has a lot of bearing on the rest of the season in that Southwest region of this conference and this whole league. It's funny because, like you said, both those teams know very well what they're going up against and how much it means to potentially get those 3 points on match day 1. You get those 3 points against probably your single biggest rival to the title, to the regular season title anyway. That's a big 3 points on match day 1. So I think they both come out and they go for it. That's you're not going to see any effort, any energy left on that field after those 90 minutes are finished. So makes for an exciting matchup. And I think those are two sides that, no matter what happens in that game, they're pretty confident in their own strategies. They've both built up kind of a very systematic approach to creating their teams and to the way they play. I think they'll be pretty calm no matter what the result is, but that doesn't mean they're not going to push for that result that they want.
Megan, when you're scrimmaging a team over and over again, and that's your form of action leading up to the season, and you start your season off against them, does one team have more of an edge than the other, or do you kind of play how do you set up for this? Are you showing everything in the scrimmage, or are you kind of holding back?
Yeah, it's a very, very strange situation when you're playing a team in such close proximity to what you've played already. And even in terms of like everything, they're so similar in the way that they've got established systems. You know, we've spoke about how in other matches they might be going into it a bit more cautious. No, this game from the first whistle, it's going to be a battle, and both teams are going to be ready to score. Yeah, it's tough. Playing a team like twice in one season is hard. To beat them twice, a team like when you know how they're going to be playing, that's enough like to make it difficult. They faced each other a lot. They faced each other in preseason only a few weeks ago. So yeah, it's going to be tough. I think they'll play slightly differently to how we saw them go out in that preseason. I think set pieces could be the difference. I'm sure that both teams will have been working on things in the training ground, and that could be what separates these two teams because they know each other's styles. So that's where they can really capitalize on something straight from the training ground. Nobody's seen it before. I think that could be something that could separate them.
Danny, you look like you had to add something to that one.
No, I mean I'm right with Megan. I think that that gives us this opportunity to see how important a set piece can be, because you look at this matchup and it's so even on paper, and there's quality on both sides. Maybe Austin has a little bit more on paper, but not enough to really say definitively there's 2-3 goals in this. So I think you look at those corners, and you look at the free kick, just outside the box from 25 yards out, and knowing confidently as the set piece taker, I'm going for this, or from this angle, I'm putting this in, and I know exactly where my runner's going. I know exactly where to place it. That changes your mentality. It opens up so many opportunities, and that helps your defender who's at midfield know exactly where to run, know exactly where that ball is probably going to pop out because they've done it 15 times on the training ground. So I mean, it's that opportunity to feel confident in what your set pieces are going to look like, and that just the likelihood of getting a goal out of one of those set pieces goes way up. And they both know that's where they could kind of hit where their opponents just have no ability to. It's just it takes a weird bounce. It finds somebody at the back post. There's so many variables that you can't account for on that cross into the box. On that corner. That's going to create a lot of interesting scenarios that could decide this match.
Well, we'll see what happens this week in week 2 of UWS soccer in the hashtag Summer of Soccer. But we also have UWS 2 matches. Corktown 2 hosts the Michigan Stars at 1:45 p.m. Eastern at the Corner Ballpark. I think that kicks off today. And AFC Plymouth travels to Thundercats SC. Yes, Thundercats is a team. It's not just a cartoon. They'll be playing at Anchor Bay High School, and kickoff is at 7 p.m. Eastern. Any last thoughts, y'all, before we let our fans go and get ready?
My last thought is, what is the cartoon Thundercats? I've never heard of that.
Oh my goodness.
Is that ever am I too young for that? Is that what that is? I don't know.
I wish I had Harry here. I wish I had. Yes, it is an old school, awesome cartoon.
I feel like it sounds pretty cool. Thundercats, I like it.
Hey, there we go. The logo even matches like the whole thing. You know what? I'm just gonna be quiet.
Is it on purpose? Is that a purposeful branding choice? Because if so, I have a lot of respect for that.
There has to be. Look it up. Watch a show or two. Start with the beginning, and we'll go.
Fair enough.
So hey, Steve says West Side. Hey, Cali. Unfortunately, that game is postponed this weekend. Steve, sorry, man. The game against International. We had 2 postponements. Unfortunately, those will be rescheduled. Kicks versus the Indiana Union, that is being rescheduled, along with the opening matchup for Congo and International at Spence Eccles. That is being rescheduled as well. So stay tuned for some announcements as it relates to those games and what is going to be going on sooner. Oh, here we go. Danny, Steve's got me. He's got my back. Yes.
Oh, man, I was about to shout Steve out. Now I don't. Man, no, I'll still shout out Steve. Steve Ramirez. That's a heck of a dude. He knows a lot about the women's game on that West Coast that he's repping this morning. And I mean, really, you talk about dudes who underrated and not appreciated enough for the work they do. He's doing fantastic stuff, obviously, with Protagonist Soccer, and we're big fans of them. And that's the guy you want to talk to if you ever want some West Coast Cali Woso information. He's doing a lot for growing the game over there. So respect to him. Glad you're listening, and sorry that I don't know what Thundercats is.
Well, hey, we want to say thank you to everybody who took the time this morning to join us. We hope everyone enjoyed today's show and that you're excited about what's going on in week 2, because we are. Don't forget to follow the show, our hosts, on social media. Danny, how can they find you?
Right there at that little thing right there. Small World Soccer is our blog that I run and podcast. Yeah, hey, I appreciate that. See, it's exposure, guys. Megan had a second time.
I'm so confused with this mirror.
Oh, me too.
Thing.
Yeah, it's like the Brady Bunch, right?
I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah, so I like that. But yeah, so Small World Soccer, follow us. We got a blog, we got a podcast every weekend, and we're just kind of hanging out, supporting as much lower league soccer as we can. So that is our Twitter handle and our Instagram. Go follow us there. We appreciate y'all support.
Megan, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. Oh, there it is. It's that side. That's my Instagram. I'm also Megan Warner 98 on Twitter. Follow me. I'm going to be posting all things soccer now. I'm joining up with Unity this week, so I'm super, super excited for that. And you guys are going to hear a lot more about Unity. I can tell you that. So, yeah, follow me for all that kind of good stuff.
Awesome. Well, hey, everybody, again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Look forward to seeing everybody Thursday for UWS Weekly, and then obviously next Saturday for the UWS Kickoff Show, powered by Rain Body Fuel. So until then, everybody, cheers and have a good week 2 of UWS Soccer in the hashtag Summer of Soccer.